Within seconds, a person's life can change forever or be extinguished entirely. Emile witnessed that for himself on November the 13th, 2015. It's also when he truly recognized how important it is to help others.
Now when I see someone on the street who's having problems with their bike, for instance, I'll stop and see what's happening. Now I'll take the 2 minutes.
On the evening of the Paris attacks, Emile was working at La Bonne Bière as usual. Suddenly, he heard sounds like firecrackers, only louder. When the noise stopped, Emile left the kitchen to see what was happening.
It was unimaginable, a scene of sheer horror. There were pools of blood and people with gunshot wounds all over.
Among the wounded was Pauline, a young woman Emile's age.
She'd taken a bullet in her upper arm and another in the leg. I sat down next to her and thought about what I should do.
Emile remained calm. He wrapped a towel around Pauline's wounded shoulder, which was bleeding heavily, and he kept talking to her. While they were waiting for help to arrive, someone suddenly shouted that the terrorist was coming back. In his fear, Emile ran upstairs to get away and left Pauline downstairs. Still, she managed to follow him, though she could barely stand up.
She came towards me and said, "Please don't leave me alone. Please stay with me." And I felt really ashamed for leaving her.
At that moment, Emile realized what it means to be there for someone else. And he knew that only one thing counted that night, making sure that Pauline survived. Today, he's convinced that helping Pauline also helped him to come to grips with the terrorist attack. It enabled him to maintain some semblance of control and kept him from being traumatized by the horrible scenes around him. But most victims of terror attacks react differently. They feel completely helpless in the situation. Like Martine Bisson. 20 years ago, she was sitting in a commuter train on her way to work when a bomb exploded in the neighboring carriage. She suffered both physical injuries and severe psychological trauma. Yet she was determined to resume living a normal life as quickly as possible.
My doctor wanted to write me off sick, but I said, if I don't start riding the train to work, I'll never get on one again. But to this day, I jump whenever I hear a sound that even vaguely resembles an explosion. And it'll likely be that way for the rest of my life.
Emile is not traumatized by what he experienced, but in the weeks after the attack, he felt compelled to find out what had happened to Pauline.
It was great to find her alive and in a more stable condition.
The doctors were able to save Pauline's arm, but she isn't prepared to talk about her experiences on camera. Still, she and Emile have felt a connection to one another ever since those terrible hours when they both fought to save her life.